Everybody, welcome back to the Bible Show. Today we're going to be discussing the seasonal archetypes, and all credit goes to my mentor, C.S. Joseph, for popularizing and developing this theory. And the seasonal archetypes is going to connect into world goals for 2026. I think as you guys learn more about the seasonal archetypes, how they're manifestations of people's personality, subconscious or unconscious development, and how it manifests within the genders. And sort of just literally like the literal seasons, like winter, ice, and cold, and how that sort of affects people's level of happiness as well as levels of sadness. Now that's an interesting discussion, sadness and happiness. Is sadness sort of the absence of happiness? And to be honest, that was kind of silly. I just sort of answered in my head. Not necessarily. Sadness and pain are sort of measurable, just like happiness. So I just answered my own question really quickly. All right, so the seasonal archetype. So for most people in the world, if I'm not mistaken, usually go through spring, summer, fall, and winter. And what we most associate with spring is like flowers blooming, at least where I live, flowers blooming, lots of rain, flowers blooming. And summer is what, of course, we most associate with. Yeah. Back into video. Okay, I can do that later. Thank you. Bye. Alright. So summer is associated with joy, heat, good vibes, sort of a euphoria in a way. And then we have fall. Fall is, I think, colloquially is associated with fall foliage, the perfect weather. But we look at the trees. It's a sort of there's sort of a decay going on. There's sort of the deciduous trees, all their leaves falling off. The green is so slowly turning into an orange, a yellow, and then a brown, and the leaves fall away. So it's sort of a decay. And winter we usually associate with cold, extreme cold, snow, sometimes beautiful things with Christmas here and there. So there is some joy in winter, but mostly it's sort of associated with darkness, shorter days, cold. And these are sort of representational of sort of subconscious and unconscious development. Subconscious is like you had a great childhood, you got a lot of attention. Most women are subconscious developed. Unconscious developed is like you had a bad childhood, you didn't get a lot of attention. A lot of men are unconscious developed. And so these are sort of representational of the different slants when it comes to development of people, as well as sort of how the different seasons in life that people go through. Like people's sometimes you could describe situations in people's lives as, or times in people's lives as either spring, summer, fall, and winter. And so we just went through the colloquial archetypes, but I'm going to go through sort of the sort of archetypes as my mentor taught it as. So spring is sort of like hope. Spring is hope, the season of hope and growth. Summer is joy, euphoria. Fall is decay. And winter is sort of like hardship. Winter, just hardship, sad, despair. There we go. That's sort of despair, complete and utter despair. So most women in life oscillate between summer and fall. It's either joy or decay, either very joyful or going through some sort of decay, like their joy is falling off. And because most women are subconscious developed, and most men oscillate between hope and despair. They're either very hopeful towards the future and or they're very despairing, which is why a lot of men struggle with suicides, and everything is so correlated. This is not like the crux of the situation. This is just sort of explaining the symptoms and explaining, sort of framing it a different way. But that can be a complete separate video. But so an interesting difference between hope and joy. Hope is like you understand the world is a terrible place. You've been through a lot, but you're still hopeful of the world. You still have something that you're holding on to, not just something that you're holding on to. And it sounds a little depressing, but you still understand that you have the capability to sort of shape your way through the world, and that sort of gives someone hope. And it's pretty masculine perspective because guys, they have a pretty hard life compared to women. They're not born with game. I don't think any guy there is born having perfect masculinity. Just born really understanding how to talk to women, really understanding women at all. But women all usually always fall into the summer archetype because they're born understanding how to be women. They're born understanding men, which is, I suppose, sort of a gift from God because time is so cruel to women. So there's sort of the trade-off there. Whereas time is sort of very beneficial to men. As time increases, man should increase in wisdom and sort of stature in terms of just his capabilities and whatnots. But summer is more so like bliss and happiness. It's like that childlike joy when we're still discovering new things in the world, when we're still experiencing, when everything in life seems happy, when the world seems like it's a perfect place, no evil in this world. And so that's the difference between hope and joy. And decay is like things are falling apart, but it's not like complete despair. It's like things are falling apart around you, but the joy is still there to some degree. Like you still see traces of joy everywhere, but it's sort of falling apart, sort of decaying around you, which can lead to sadness, depression, of course, just like being sad. And winter despair is more so like despair is sort of basically means like no hope. You're like in a hopeless situation. But some people are naturally despair archetypes, and they live their whole life as despair archetypes. Even though the situation is hopeless, not even though the situation is hopeless, even though they've been through a lot, they still push through in life. This is the UD-UF archetype, unconscious developed, unconscious focused. And I guess we can do a separate video breaking that down and sort of practical advice on how that can benefit your life. And so now that we understand this, I think anyone watching can sort of take a look at these archetypes and sort of really pick, which type, which season really resonates the most with their life, or which season really resonates the most with a certain time of their life. And it's a great way to view life, and just taking this to a world scale or grand scale. To be honest, we already have, because this connects all human beings in the world. But taking this to like a socioeconomic status, just sort of taking this to a level of sort of practical level for the benefits. How can humans use this to sort of benefit their lives? Then we take a look at certain countries like, for example, Greenland or maybe Canada. Honestly, the biggest problem with these countries is that it's just cold. Besides that, the people are nice, the crime's not too bad, but it's just cold, and it's not a fun place. It's not the most positive environment to be in, and especially Greenland. I'm not sure if you guys know the story, but there's like a YouTube video out there. There's like a town in Greenland that the most suicidal town in the world. Greenland struggles with really short nights. Sometimes it's dark all winter, or dark for basically half the year is basically super dark. And so a lot of people, there's a good amount of people in Greenland that struggle with alcoholism, depression, just because there's no sunlight, there's no light. And if you think about this, in heaven, I can't imagine it's cold or wintry unless God sort of crafts sort of an aspect of heaven like that, just really showcase the beauty of the snow, the beauty of winter. But we have the light of God there. We have something beyond beautiful there. But in this world, we just have, for the most part, the sun and other human beings sort of shed that light. And every now and then, God's love. But it's mostly through human beings. So basically, we don't have any weather changing machines at the moment. We can't really manipulate and change the weather. It'd be amazing if we could. Some countries would go through a lot less depression and a lot less despair. But if you live in a cold place, cold, dark place, it's probably one of the reasons you're depressed. Or that's making you sad. Like depression, like we call it how it is. Like if you're sad, there's probably a reason why. And one of the reasons probably you're in a cold, dark place. Let's go say you went from Greenland to Miami. I'm sure a good amount of people's depression would go away. Just besides the vibe, just the weather. Just the going from winter to summer, changing from those two archetypes, I think is really going to save your depression. So if you're struggling with being sad or just not being satisfied in life, just take a look at the weather in your life. And if you're in a wintry, dark place, like if you're in Greenland or Canada, like a wintry, cold place, cold, dark place, Canada, Alaska, Greenland, people seem just like any like the northernmost parts of the world or like southernmost parts of the world, like far away from the equator, I would recommend moving to a warmer place just to really don't let the weather take away from your attention, because attention theory in life is a theory that give credit to Dopa, League of Legends player. Attention theory, our attention can only be focused on so many things. Like in League of Legends, like if you're playing a new champion, if you guys understand, you guys ever played League before, if you're playing a new champion, it's going to be hard to look at the mini-map, hard to look for ganks, because you're so focused on learning the mechanics of a new champion, and you lose your attention, and you're probably going to lose the game because you're just going to get ganked a bunch early, die, and you're going to get out snowballed. Or maybe you have a good team comp, maybe they can save you in the later stages of the game. But just being sad takes attention away from yourself, and it's going to reduce productivity, reduce attention towards more productive things. And so economically speaking, I think but then again, we could say that it could damage the economy of certain countries if there's a brain drain and they move away. But for your happiness, if you want to be happy, if you're wondering why you're sad, definitely ask yourself, am I living in a cold, dark place? It's most likely the case. It's mostly part of why you're miserable. So definitely move to somewhere warmer where there's more light, like Miami, Florida, or maybe like some Southeast Asian country. Well, the problem with that is they go through some monsoon seasons, but move somewhere where it's warmer, move somewhere where there's more light, and I guarantee you'll be a lot happier.